What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I don't know if you can see it right there, but we're at BookOff in Gardena. Haven't been here in like 2 months or more, so I'm pretty excited to see what they have, and hopefully we end up buying something. Let's just get right into the video. So we are back at the Gardena BookOff, and the Gardena BookOff is actually one of my favorite BookOffs to go because they have Monogatari figures, and as y'all know, Monogatari is one of my favorite series. And you know, its main character Ararawgi is the basis for the name of this channel. But this BookOff really did surprise me today because of a lot of changes in the store, because I hadn't been here in a couple months probably, and they made some very good changes to the store, I must say. Here we are at the usual glass cabinet where they have the out-of-box figures and some scale figures, some, you know, higher, I guess, quality or higher value items here, I must say. I remember one time when I was here that I found a Takashi Natsume from Natsume's Book of Friends scale figure here for like $180, and that's one of my grails, so I was very happy. But the biggest changes to this store are, you know, yet to come, and one of them is right here. They ended up having a lot more, I guess, small knickknacks and plushies here, which I very much appreciate because I'm a big fan of those small plushies, those small knickknacks, those little acrylic stands. I'm a big fan of those, and I do end up buying like a good amount of those throughout the year, so I'll definitely be coming back to this BookOff and checking out what they have because they usually have a pretty good selection of stuff. And over here, as you see, is the CD section, and the CDs, the section was not very big before, you know, this year. Back when I used to go like a couple months ago, it was very small, and now it's absolutely huge. And speaking of Monogatari, like I said earlier, look at these two figures, the Senjo Gahara and the Hachikuji, the ending version for Bakemonogatari. I had never seen those before, and it was crazy seeing those, but those prices were even crazier, $170 and $160. I'm kind of too broke for that, so we didn't end up buying it. But back to what I was saying, the CD section greatly expanded, and that's, you know, such a great thing to see, because if you're looking for CDs, this is probably like the only place to go to if you're looking for some anime CDs. And me personally, I'm looking for, you know, a couple. The Mushishi OST is definitely one I'm looking for, 2 CDs, but you know, I can never find it. So if there's gonna be a place I'll find it, it's definitely BookOff. But as you can see here, the figure section is huge, and you know, it probably doubled in size since the last time I came here. Before, they used to only have 2 shelves, or well, 2 walls of figures, which, you know, was a good amount, but they pretty much expanded to like 3 or 4 walls of figures. And you know, they do their usual formatting of the figures, a lot of out-of-box stuff, a lot of prize figures, you know, which isn't the most appealing thing for some people, but for those who are getting into collecting, I think that this is a very good way to start because stuff is cheap. It's pre-owned, just so you know, it's pre-owned, but it's very cheap compared to buying brand new stuff. Most of the things here are usually $20 to $40, I would say. So if there's a certain figure you're looking for, you'll probably, you know, find it here. But at the top is all the scale figures, and you know, with BookOff, I've bought a couple scale figures in my time here. I've actually had a couple steals when it came to buying scale figures, and you know, on a side, there was a Gun Plus section as well, so they didn't have that before, which was pretty cool to see. But as I was saying, scale figures in BookOff, they're very, very hit or miss. I've seen some outrageous prices for figures over here. There was a Persona 4 figure here for $750. I don't know if you saw it earlier. And then there was a Misaka Ackerman here, or Mikasa Ackerman, for $300, which is crazy. But you know, sometimes BookOff has those steals. Like I've mentioned many times, I found my Natsume's Book of Friends figure here, and I found my, you know, ultimate grail, my Devil Homura by Aniplex, the one with the massive wings, for $350 when she usually goes for like $500 to $600, and she was in basically perfect condition. So that's the reason why I love BookOff so much, because you'll probably find some things that you otherwise won't find anywhere else. And speaking of that, as you saw, they had a quintessential quintuplets figure here, a Toradora figure, just a good wide variety of figures, and you'll never know what you'll find when you go to BookOff, which is, I think the biggest appeal of going to a BookOff. As you can see here, more prize figures, some Figmas, and I did notice that the Figma section is slowly growing smaller and smaller, and is it Good Smile who releases them? I don't know who releases them, but Figmas are slowly getting less and less releases as time goes on, and I feel like they're opting more for pop-up parades, which is like, not something I'm against, but for the Figma collectors, it sucks, but it is what it is. But another thing that I'd love to point out about this BookOff is how organized they are in the figure section. Everything is grouped by series, so if you're looking for a certain series, you'll probably find a group of figures for that series in that one section, making everything, easy to look for. As you saw there was a Misaka Mikoto, which was hideous, by the way. But behind her were a bunch of other railgun prize figures, which was really cool to see. But yeah, BookOff's figure section for this store specifically, the Gardena location, is great. They've expanded greatly, and it's, amazing that they were able to even fit this many figures into the store. I mean, it's crazy. And as you see here, another example of ridiculous prices, $320 for a Machiro Shina. I wasn't tempted to buy it, but it was really cool to see that because I had never seen that Machiro figure before. She's from the Pet Girl of Sakurasu, which was at the time my #1 anime, or not at the time, which was a long time ago, my favorite anime, but then I started watching more anime and, it slowly fell down. It's still a great series in my opinion, so check it out if, you want to check it out. But over here, just the Nendroid section and the Figma section, they had this Hatsune Miku Nendroid, which I thought was pretty funny. She had a funny look to her face, and they actually had the 3 Konosuba girls over here. I remember in like 2020, trying to find the complete set was absolutely crazy, and Megumin was probably $120. As you can see, she's $110 there. So not very off from, those 2020 prices, which were kind of crazy. But they also had a Misaka Mikoto Nendoroid here. It's not a Nendoroid, but it's Kotobukiya's Nendoroids. $80, definitely not gonna buy that. Honestly, I told myself that I was not gonna buy Nendoroids, but it seems that most of my favorite characters are getting Nendoroids, so we will be buying Nendoroids in the future. Suisei and the whole crew from Bocchi the Rock is definitely getting bought, so yeah. Over here is the manga section, and the manga section also expanded very, very greatly, honestly. They have 2 whole walls for manga now. They used to have just one side, but the whole aisle is all manga now. Manga and light novels, actually. I do wish that they did separate things into their separate light novel set, or light novel section, but, not all BookOffs do that, so. And this is one of them, so it's okay, but, it just makes it a little harder finding light novels if you're into that. On top of the manga shelves are all of these box sets. There are some that are official box sets and some that are BookOff's box sets. BookOff's box sets usually give you a small discount if you're buying in bulk, probably like 10 to 20% max. So if you're into getting a bigger discount and you don't need those box sets that like Viz Media puts out, definitely check out BookOff because you'll definitely be able to find a deal. Probably get volumes for like $10 or less depending on the series. If you notice, they had a Food Wars one for like $300 something, and there are like 36 volumes to that series, so it's a pretty good deal, I would say. And then looking over here, they had just extra manga in the shelves. Oh, and another thing that I wanted to talk about, I know I'm jumping from place to place, but you know how we do this here, one take, just talking whatever's on my mind about the store. One thing that I did notice is that they had a separate section for omnibuses and hardcovers, which was really cool. There was like the Attack on Titan Colossal Edition, they had some Berserk, the ones with the leather covers. I don't know what version those are called, but they had that. They had like the Cardcaptor Sakura hardcovers. It was cool seeing that they had their own section. I don't know if I recorded some footage for it, but they did have that, so it's worth noting if you're into, you know, the big omnibuses. They do have a good selection here. I believe that they also had a silent voice, like the collector's edition one as well. But yeah, they do have that. So if you're into that, definitely check this BookOff out because they have one of the biggest sections that I've seen. So as you see, I'm looking through the manga here and they have a great selection. However, there's one thing that I would like to, point out when you're buying manga from BookOff. And it's that if you're looking for series that are still publishing, you're probably better off, buying them brand new because BookOff doesn't really discount them like so much for you to like justify, oh, I'm gonna buy this, volume for $12 instead of $13, just because it's lightly used. You could probably find it for a lot cheaper online, or just buy it brand new from Right Stuff Anime, and you'll probably get it for a better price. But the reason why I love going to BookOff is because you'll find at those rare moments, you'll find those out of print series, or you'll find those series that are really hard to find. Natsume's Book of Friends is one of them for me. I still don't have volume 1. I could definitely find it online, but honestly, I don't know why I don't just buy it online. But if I were to look in a store, BookOff is probably the best place for me to go to find that. But yeah, out of print stuff and stuff that's, I guess, not, out of print stuff in general is, BookOff's forte, I would say. It's the place you're most likely to find it. And that's pretty much the main reason why I go to BookOff, to be honest. As you can see there, that Hanako-kun volume, basically brand new, was $12 instead of $13. You can probably buy it at like Right Stuff or even Target for like $8.99. So just an example of what I was saying earlier. But I'm really impressed with all the manga selection. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything that caught my eye. I did find one thing, and it was a copy of the Pretty Boy Detective Club light novel for $9.50 instead of the usual $16, I believe. I was very close to pulling the trigger on that, but I told myself, I need to finish Zaragoto first before I move on to like a new Nishio Ishin series. So yeah, but as you see, great selection of stuff. If there's one thing I could improve, it would definitely be having a separate light novel section, because some people only read light novels, and it'd be a lot easier for them to find that. But overall, this manga section is great. Bunch of stuff, and you'll probably find something for you if you're not as picky as me, because honestly, I don't even know what manga I'm collecting at this point other than Blue Period, Natsume's Book of Friends, and yeah, maybe Call of the Night, because I haven't even started that. I have the first 2 volumes, but I haven't even started it. But yeah, BookOff is... This BookOff really expanded, and I'm very, very happy with the manga section. And let me know, like, what your manga section looks like in your local manga store. I'd probably guess it's, like, not as grand as this one. Well, I could be wrong, though. There's some, like, Barnes & Nobles and Kinokuniya's that do have a better selection, but this is a pretty good selection for a used bookstore, I would say. But I'm just rambling on. Moving on to the next footage. We have a Japanese manga section in this BookOff. I do know a lot of them have a lot of Japanese manga, and I really do wish that I could read Japanese because the price on these is so insane, and they're so much cheaper than the English version. I think it's absolutely insane that you can probably buy 12 volumes, I think it was, of Chainsaw Man for like $40, or it was like 20 something volumes of Kaguya for like $100. It was crazy. Like, that was 12 volumes of Nozaki-kun, which I'm not a big fan of, but my girlfriend is, for $60. That's $5 a copy. That's crazy. But yeah, I wish I could read Japanese so I could, buy cheaper manga, but it is what it is. And then finally, we're at the art book section, which was what separated this BookOff from the other ones, in my opinion. And it's nice to see that it's still solid. I wasn't able to find anything of, you know, series that I enjoy personally, but there was a good amount of stuff, and they did have some collector stuff for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is something that, you know, I haven't started, but told myself that I would start for the longest time. But they had some cool stuff for JoJo's here, which would have been great if I was a fan, but, you know, it is what it is. This art book section is, you know, pretty good, has a bunch of video game stuff, has a bunch of magazines from Japanese magazines if you're into that, like as you see over here. And it also has like visual novel art, which is crazy because, you know, I play visual novels, but I haven't seen like the art books for the visual novels I've played. I've seen like an art book for Skadi, or Skaji, who did Subahibi, which I played, but there was no Subahibi art, unfortunately. But yeah, as you see, that JoJo's like art book set is right there, and it looked crazy. I remember like my best haul here being like the Madoka key animation set. But yeah, this art book section is pretty cool, and yeah, pretty enjoyable. Alright, so that about does it for the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. The BookOff was pretty nice. They renovated things and reorganized things, and it's a lot better than when I last went over there. So I was very pleasantly surprised and enjoyed myself a pretty good amount there. We didn't buy anything, but it's always good to look around, window shop, always a fun time. But yeah, if you enjoyed, don't forget to do all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.